Hi guys, my name is Joanna and today I'm going to be doing a podcast. We're just going to be talking real deep today. I am currently in my dorm. That's my roommate's bed, but my bed is freaking amazing. This is my bed. Okay, enough of that. Let me look at the question. So the question is, what was a space that I was new to and what confused me about it? Whoa, okay. During 5th grade, I was in 5th grade. I was having the time of my life, guys. Like, that was the time where I was just thriving until my parents got a divorce. I was 10 years old. It had happened, like, kind of right after my birthday. It was kind of weird. It was only weird because I was just feeling, like, so good. And then, like, out of nowhere, like, why am I not staying the night at the house that like we're staying at anymore? Like, what's going on, guys? My parents were like, you know what, they were like, we know you're too little, but you'll understand eventually once you get older. And I thought that was BS. I was like, I'm never gonna, like, why would you guys do this when, like, I was young? Like, this is so unfair. Like, I thought that, like, this whole situation was so unnecessary and unfair. Well, that's what I at least thought when I was younger. Vividly remember that day. I was very, like, shocked and just quiet. I didn't talk to any of my siblings that day. I remember I was just, like, to myself. I was trying to, like, process, like, what had just happened. Not a single child expects that or even understands what that even is. Like I had said, I remember, like, the day that it had happened. But before we get to that part, let me tell y'all. There was a day I had felt like the energy just, like, completely changed. I was just a little kid, but it felt weird. And I grew up in a very, like, happy home, just, like, no arguing. And if we would argue, like, my family was very big on communicating and making sure that, like, everyone felt like they had a place to talk. The day that everything felt just really off, everyone did not have plans that day. My mom and dad didn't work that day. Me and my siblings, my sister, my brother, we were all in the living room, like, my whole family, and we were watching a movie. A few hours passed by, and my sister, my brother, and me are still in the living room. My dad and mom had gone to the room, and I was like, okay. I was a very, like, curious kid, so, like, I went over there and checked out what was going on, because they were just chilling. Like, my parents were literally relaxed, and all of a sudden they just go to the room, and they haven't came out in, like, 5 minutes around there, and I was getting a little bit concerned, so I was like, okay, guys, hold up. I had gone to my mom's room, or my parents' room at the time, obviously. I opened the door, like, I opened it, and, like, I, like, looked inside, like, just a little bit, and I could just hear them going back at it with each other, and I could just see my mom burst into tears, and, like, my dad was just not having it. It looked like he didn't care. It looked like they were both just so over it, and, like, I was like, oh, wow. And, like, I stepped out, and I wasn't really inside the room, but, like, I literally closed the door, and I just left, and I went back to the living room like it was nothing. But I had felt, like, such a weird tension, like a really weird tension between our family. Like, I just had a really bad feeling. I think that's what it was. I was like, okay, but okay, let's not do this, because I'm literally 10, so don't do this to me right now, like, please. I was like, okay, whatever, like, it was just a fight. They're adults, like, they're gonna handle it. They obviously freaking handled it. At the time, I was like, whatever, like, nothing's gonna happen. They just had a fight. Turns out that a month, like, later, sort of, they got a divorce. Quickly had to adapt to a new school, and on top of that, a new home. So that's when I'm going to get started with my story. A new space I had to get used to was school, a new home. We had lived in an apartment because my mom, of course, single mother, raising 3 kids, so it was hard. But my dad was still raising us, paying child support, whatever, all those adult stuff. I don't know. At the moment, I had felt very disconnected from everyone. It wasn't even that I was sad. It just felt very, like, weird. I felt very disconnected from my friends and my friends at school. It felt, like, so weird because, I mean, I felt like at the time I was the only one going through that, and obviously when you go through something like that, you feel like you're, like, alone, and you really just don't have anyone else to relate to. Especially, I feel like since I was young, I really couldn't really talk about it with anyone. I mean, I don't know, like, I really couldn't talk to anyone. It wasn't that I was, like, depressed or anything. It was just that it was very hard to, like, adapt to so many changes at once, and it was just so hard to process everything that it just made everything very challenging for me to, like, get used to. It was very hard not having my father there. And don't get me wrong, I love my mother. She is a strong woman and I love her to death. But I also love my dad. So it was hard having to, like, go, like, stay at my mom's, because obviously I stayed, like, that's literally where I would live. But on the weekends, I would go with my dad, and, I had to, like, quickly get used to it, and it was a bit hard at the very beginning, but I started getting used to it. I mean, at the time, since when I was younger, I had always thought that it was just so unfair that they did this to me and my siblings, and, like, how could you just do that to your kid? But now, obviously, that I'm fully grown, and over the years, I've grown to understand that it's better to do something sooner than later, and I am so glad that I'm not glad that it happened and I had to experience that at such a young age, but I'm very glad that it came out to not be as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, guys, but I'm so happy I got to talk to you guys about a new space that I was new to and what confused me about it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to me talk about this experience. Hopefully you guys can relate, and if you do, I am so sorry, but just know that you're strong. Alright, guys, well, this is where the podcast ends, so I'm gonna start editing now, and I'll see you guys next time. So, goodbye, guys.